Xiaomi just dropped the Redmi Note 15 Pro Plus, and they're calling it the new king of the mid-range. On paper, it looks like a beast, a 200-megapixel camera, a massive 6500 milliamp hour battery, and professional-grade water resistance. But here's the thing, it's also pushing into the €500 price bracket. Is this still a Redmi Note for the people, or has Xiaomi gotten a little too comfortable? Today, we're going deep into the specs, the global version compromises, and whether that 200-megapixel sensor is a revolutionary tool or just a massive distraction from some questionable hardware choices. Let's find out if the Note 15 Pro Plus is actually worth your hard-earned cash. Let's start with the build. Xiaomi isn't messing around with durability this year. We're looking at Gorilla Glass Victus 2 on the front and a frame that feels significantly more premium than previous generations. You can choose between a fiber-reinforced plastic back or this silicone polymer eco-leather. But the real line? It's IP68 and IP69K rated. That K means it can theoretically survive high-pressure, high-temperature water jets. Now, unless you're cleaning your phone with a power washer, you probably don't need that, but it's nice flex. It's also rated for 2.5-meter drops. It's built like a tank, but at 207 grams, it definitely feels like one in your pocket, too. It's thick, it's heavy, and it demands your attention. The screen is usually where Redmi wins, and this 6.83-inch AMOLED panel is no exception. 1.5K resolution, 120 Hz refresh rate, and a staggering 3200 nits of peak brightness. 3200 nits! That's brighter than many flagship TVs. It means you could literally be in the middle of the Sahara Desert at high noon and still read your emails perfectly. They've also included 3840 Hz PWM dimming to help with eye strain, which is a huge win for late-night scrollers. But honestly, do we really need 3200 nits on a mid-range phone? It's a great spec to put on the box, but in daily use, you'll rarely see that peak unless you're blasting HDR content under direct sunlight. Now let's talk about the engine. Under the hood, we have the new Snapdragon 7S Gen 4. Now, Gen 4 sounds impressive, right? But don't let the naming scheme fool you. The S series is Qualcomm's more budget-friendly, less powerful line. While it's a 4-nanometer chip, the performance jump over last year's 7S Gen 3 is only about 7%. It's smooth for daily tasks, sure, but if you're expecting flagship-level speed, you're going to be disappointed. At this €500 price point, competitors are offering the Snapdragon 8 series or the top-tier Dimensity chips that absolutely smoke this in raw power. Xiaomi is betting that you won't notice the difference, but for NexLab viewers, we know better. It's fine, but fine is a hard pill to swallow for $500. If you're a gamer, listen up. The Adreno 810 GPU in here can handle most titles on medium to high settings, but start pushing it with heavy titles and you'll see the limitations of that 7S architecture. In my testing, it holds up okay, but it lacks that sustained oomph of a Poco F8 Pro or a OnePlus Nord 5. Thermal management is decent, it doesn't get dangerously hot, but that's mostly because the chip isn't running at insane clock speeds to begin with. It's a reliable performer for casual play, but if you're looking to dominate competitive leaderboards, this isn't the weapon of choice. Here is where I have to play devil's advocate. In late 2025, early 2026, Xiaomi is still shipping this phone with UFS 2.2 storage. Why? Every other competitor at this price point has moved to UFS 3.1 or even 4.0. UFS 2.2 means slower app installs, slower file transfers, and a phone that might feel sluggish 2 years down the line. It's a classic cost-cutting move that Xiaomi hopes you'll overlook because of the big camera number. But when you're paying €500, you deserve storage that can keep up with the rest of the hardware. It's a major con in my book. Let's move to the main event, that 100-megapixel primary camera. It uses the HPE sensor with in-sensor zoom that can push 2x and 4x with surprisingly little loss in quality. In good lighting, the detail is undeniably impressive. You can take a massive landscape shot, crop in, and still have a usable photo. But let's be real, how often are you actually taking 200-megabyte photos? Most of the time, the phone uses pixel binning to give you a 12.5 MP shot anyway. It's a great sensor, and the OIS does a solid job of keeping things steady, but don't buy this just for the megapixels. It's as much about marketing as it is about photography. Now, here's a bitter pill for the global audience. The Chinese version of this phone launched with a proper 50-megapixel telephoto lens, but for the international model, they swapped it out for nothing. You're stuck with the 200-megapixel main and an 8-megapixel ultra-wide. That 8-megapixel ultra-wide is the same basic sensor we've seen for years. It's soft, the colors don't match the main lens, and it feels out of place on a Pro Plus device. Why did we lose the telephoto, Xiaomi? It makes the Pro Plus branding feel a little less pro and a lot more standard. On the front, we get a 32-megapixel selfie snapper, which is actually quite good. Plenty of detail for your social media posts. Video-wise, you can hit 4K at 30 FPS. The stabilization is decent, but again, because of the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 limitations, you're not getting 4K 60 FPS on the main camera, which some cheaper rivals do offer. It's a capable camera system for most people, but the lack of versatility, especially the missing telephoto, really hurts the value proposition for mobile photographers. If there is one reason to buy this phone, it's the battery. We are looking at a massive 6,500 mAh cell. Because the Snapdragon 7S Gen 4 isn't a power-hungry monster, this battery lasts forever. We're talking 2 full days of moderate use, easy. In an era where most flagships struggle to make it past 6 p.m., having this much juice is a genuine luxury. Interestingly, the Chinese version has a 7,000 mAh battery, but even with the slightly smaller 6,500 mAh cell in the global model, this is still one of the best battery life performers on the market. To top up that massive battery, you get 100 watts wired charging. Now, 100 watts is fast. It'll get you from 0 to 100% in under 45 minutes. But here's the weird part. The previous Redmi Note 13 Pro Plus had 120-watt charging. Why the downgrade? Sure, 100 watts is still plenty, but in the world of tech reviews, we usually like to see numbers go up, not down. It feels like another small compromise to keep the profit margins high. It also supports 22.5-watt reverse-wired charging, which is handy for charging your earbuds in a pinch. Out of the box, we're running Android 15 with Xiaomi's HyperOS 2. It's cleaner than the old MIUI days, but it's still very Xiaomi. There's bloatware, and the interface is heavily customized. Xiaomi is promising 4 major Android updates for this device, which is great, but keep in mind Android 16 is already starting to roll out on some other devices, so launching on 15 feels like you're already one step behind. Still, the software is snappy, and the AI features for photo editing are actually quite fun to play with. So let's talk numbers. The Redmi Note 15 Pro Plus starts at around €499 for the 8 to 256GB model and goes up to €633 for the 12GB version. That is a lot of money for a Redmi Note. For that same price, you can find the Poco F8 Pro, which has a much faster processor and better storage, or the OnePlus Nord 5, which offers a more refined software experience. Xiaomi is banking on the Redmi brand loyalty and the 200-megapixel marketing, but the value for money crown is slipping. You're paying flagship prices for a phone with mid-range storage and a good not great processor. Is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 15 Pro Plus a bad phone? No, it's got an incredible screen, legendary battery life, and it's built like a tank. If you're someone who constantly drops their phone or needs 2 days of battery, this is a top-tier choice. But if you're looking for the best performance or the most versatile camera for €500, I'm not sure this is it. The UFS 2.2 storage, the missing telephoto lens, and the modest processor jump make it a hard sell when the competition is so fierce. My advice? Wait for a sale. At €400, this is a steal. At €500 to €600, it's a bit of a gamble. What do you guys think? Is the 200-megapixel camera enough to win you over, or are the compromises too much? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more honest tech reviews. This is NexLab Reviews, and thanks for watching.